And let's count it down in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tetris!
You cannot beat the live experience. This isn't a full house yet either. That's the fun part. Everyone who is in this venue is a hardcore Tetris person, and they are going to be lighting it up today. I love this.
So, oh my goodness, it is amazing to see Corian and Green Tea back in action. Dan V looking to overcome some serious jet lag that he might have, but he is locked in, already opting for the level 19 starts.
Yeah, and we've seen this optimized in recent years. You know, at first when, you know, in the early point where it's like the scene is getting really good in the online era, you know, people were not even trying to max out every single game. It just wasn't a thing. It was crazy when Joseph got 12 in his 2020 qualifier. I remember the whole scene was shocked. But nowadays, it has gotten optimized to the point where players are starting here just because level 19 takes less time to complete a game than level 18, and that extra time save means they have the capacity for more max outs. And that's how we had a couple of players get 16 yesterday, including Alex T, breaking the overall qualifying record with his 900K kicker of some sort. And, you know, it's possible that Dan V puts up 17 here. I would expect that most players of this level genuinely just can on any given day.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that would be incredible if we see somebody break the record here again.
Yeah, the last roller qualifying.
Oh my goodness, and our lovely stat team has put up a shot of both of us here in the fourth player
I didn't
slot.
even notice that, yeah.
I think, because they've done this before, if unfortunately, if Qatar is unable to make it, we might be able to stick somebody up who's not currently on stage and bring them up here so we can get to see their games. And Corian currently resetting after first game, still warming up. Green Tea off to a great start. Building one row off the bottom, exactly as Fractal did in his first recorded perfect transition.
Yeah. If only there was a well-crafted YouTube video that somebody could go watch about such a transition and other perfect games.
And a well-notated and outlined video.
Oh my God.
Dan V a little bit frustrated after that missed flip.
Yeah,
but
it happens.
It should be okay.
Yeah, it's one thing for it to happen in competition where there's another player playing and, you know, every last point counts. But luckily this is qualifying. You have 2 whole hours uninterrupted that you're gonna sit here and play Tetris at the highest level. Tiny mistakes are gonna happen. Minimizing them obviously helps, but it is not the end of the world for having one misdrop.
So I think oh my gosh, something super incredible that our camera crew has just put up. We have a shot with all 3 styles in the game. Dash, tap, and roll.
Yeah.
Right in order.
And three exemplars of the, you know, of each individual play style. You know, Green Tea, personally innovated dash play after tap had already taken over. He was one of the first players to really make quick tapping specifically a core part of his game plan. He innovated a couple of major adjustments in an era where adjustments were still kind of a novelty. They are just now an expected part of top level Tetris that you will be adjusting on a regular basis. You know, if not multiple pieces in a row. We see Dengler do that all the time.
Yeah, and Green Tea, something that was really cool to see when we did the CTM stats is that Green Tea's superpower was his consistency.
Yeah.
He had, I believe for a very long time, the highest level 19 transition rate of anybody.
It lasted until deep into the Hyper Tapper era.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yes. He only had a single top out before 19 in his entire CTM career, and I believe it was after he already won one time. He was he might have even just been goofing around up at the top. But yeah, and then next to him, oh my gosh, we have who for a while was the absolute champ of CTM, 11 titles, something that we thought could never be matched by anybody. He was the true star of that event, showing up month after month, giving players somebody to motivate them to try their best and see if they could take him down someday.
Yeah, it was an incredible run. If you wanted to say you were the best player in the world in 2018 and 2019, you had to prove it by beating Corian. And only one person, really did that on a reasonably consistent basis. He still has not been matched in his total win count. I'm not even sure anyone's at double digits. I forgot how many Dog has nowadays. And there's a couple other players that were knocking on the door of it, but other than him, I don't know if anyone's there.
Right, and he was going toe-to-toe with the world champ at the time. I think Corian and Joseph faced each other 3 times in the CTM finals, and Corian did beat Joseph once in pretty dominant fashion.
That was an excellent set for that era. I remember even Joseph afterward was like, I got like multiple level 30s, multiple max outs. Like, what else am I supposed to do? He's just better today.
Yeah, so we will really see if we can have a tapping legend back in the gold bracket.
Yeah, it is well within Corian's reach. He is, I think the cutoff right now is like 3 or 4. It'll probably bump up to like 4 or 5, but regardless of where in that range it is, he is more than capable of putting up that number of maxes in 2 hours.
And oh my goodness, it looks like Kataru is indeed here. So we'll be off to a little bit of a late start, but should still have plenty of time to put up a score that we all know he's capable of. Kataru, oh my goodness, this guy has done so much behind the scenes for CTM. He was probably the most prolific contributor to the Research for Summoning Salt video on Tetris that we all loved last year. He was the main person behind writing the code for the RNG in CTWC, because we don't want to generate it like the game where it's got all the pieces flipping through every frame. We want to make sure it's fair for both the players. So he really helped create that same piece set system.
Yeah, he is one of our 3 Lifetime Achievement Award laureates. He got that in, I believe it was 2023. It is just, we could go on for hours about how many weird niche things that Kataru has touched in this scene, but without him, we would not be anywhere near where we are. He is a very important figure to the history of Tetris, and he's a pretty good player to boot. How many players have ever made, multiple finals at CTWC? I think the list is 5 people.
It's a very short
and he's
list,
on it. He was arguably the 3rd best player. In that, pre-Joseph, Das era where, Jonas and Harry were kind of the top dogs, but he beat Harry multiple times.
Yeah, and Green Tea closing in on the finish of a game. It's borderline max out pace. We'll see if he can get it. It might be out of reach after this dig, but he could at least put up a really high kicker score.
Yeah, and speaking of max out, we have Dan V on the kill screen. Did not have the level 29 transition he was looking for, but he is grinding this out on level 30. Can, with one more Tetris, make this into level 31. He's more than capable of doing that. Or he might just kind of, keep his board safe, because if he messes up even slightly, Corian topping out with a bad transition board. But yeah, if he messes up even slightly and this board climbs and he misses that 1,000,000-point score, then this is going to be a huge time loss. You need all the games that you can get to be max outs.
And Dan V.O. with a little bit of a misdrop. Things are
is
piling up.
This is what he's being so conservative about. He doesn't want this situation, and he wants as many options as he can to get out of it.
Oh, he just needs a couple more lines. Can he get something?
Oh my God!
One more line. Oh no! 998. I believe one more single would have done it at that point.
Yep.
Oh, and that is brutal, and that's why you never take a max for granted. And Green Tea on the kill screen, Das kill screen play. Yeah. Oh my goodness, 236 lines for Green Tea.
Wow.
Incredible. 862. That'll be a great kicker score if he can get some maxes here.
Yeah, I have to imagine that's a pretty good early qualification game for Green Tea. He's got to be feeling good about that one. He's barely had time to warm up with all the TGM he was playing yesterday. Dan V though, that's a good consolation prize, but consolation it is. He is here to max. He wants to break into that first round bye general zone, which in this year even double digit maxes isn't safe for a first round bye, not even close.
Yeah.
So games like those, he's going to be feeling it if he doesn't get one of those top 16 seeds.
I love how Chris Bidwell is now the first person who's appeared on our live counter.
Yep. Yeah, you will see as more games get submitted to our stats team that the top 8 players currently qualifying will appear at the top there. The rest of them will go into that general pool. It'll take a long while before any of them will manage to get on that board.
Yeah, so Marfram, this is your first time now that we're seeing these scores come in.
Yeah.
You rewrote this entire sheet.
From scratch.
So, can you explain what's going on here as we have these player name pops up and what work went into making this happen?
Yeah, so the process in person is, I can hear Green Tea laughing about some of the venue stuff. The process is actually when a player tops out, the stats team is not watching these screens ready to enter it at a moment's notice. That's not our position in life. We have so many layers of redundancy, of security, and basically what happens is we still to this day use physical paper cards. There's a judge on each stage whose job is to watch these games and wait for a good score to get ready, and they will literally write either max or the score if it's not a max on the card. They'll write the player name, they'll write their own judge code so that we can go verify if there's any issues. If it's a max, we are keeping track of how many maxes on the cards this year. That's a new feature. And once that card is ready, they will send it to either a runner or just run it themselves to the stats table where it will be entered into the sheet. And we do not enter the score until we have every last piece of information settled. We have so many layers of security here, and the reason for that is we want these qualifying data to be as accurate as physically possible. And I think we achieved that this year. I know there was some worry about especially Pixel Andy's qualifier because he had the Bidwell.
Oh my
Bidwell
gosh,
going crazy.
we got some craziness
on
going on. On CT2.
Yeah, if you are not watching all the streams, please do.
Yeah, you're gonna want all of these turned up at the same time.
He is on the floor. He
has
my goodness! Exited his chair. Can CT1 hear that? He is loud.
Oh my goodness, I could hear it from here.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got Barrett over here getting a clutch angle of that, which I'm sure will be great for replays later.
Yeah. That's going to be some B-roll. But yeah, so
right.
I remember we had some worry from the general population yesterday about Pixel Andy's max count while he was in the middle of qualifying. They thought that that had been missed somehow. The reason it wasn't is because the judges table did not receive the official submission in the form of a card at our table that he had maxed out that game. And so we did not enter it until we received that documentation, which we resolved in the middle of the qualifying session. That we have issues pop up every single year, but having them all resolved while the venue is still in session is kind of unprecedented. I remember in previous years we would be sitting in the hotel room, wanting to go to sleep, but going through hours of footage, to make sure, double check, did we get this one? Did we get that? There would be multiple scoring disputes, and in this year. What is it, Bidwell?
So there's some cool stuff we're seeing on the side here with the scores coming in. Dan Sushi, I'll give a quick shout out to him. He was our primary photographer for CTWC 2022. He did a fantastic job. He's back this year. He has, according to himself, barely touched the game this past year and was encouraged to qualify by Svavar yesterday. He wasn't sure if he'd be able to do well. He's already put up a 764K, which will get him a high seed in bronze. So congrats to Dan Sushi. Every one of our staff team is important, especially photographers, because we need those great photos of the players like he got in 2022.
Yeah, but especially getting a score this early. Oh, as Corian hangs a bar. A 671, that's an all right kicker for the early game, but he is clearly still got a little bit of rust to shake off. Not even raising his hand to submit the score. He knows he can do better.
So we will be on max out watch for both Dan V and Green Tea this game. Green Tea is on pace.
This is an excellent transition score, like for any player, let alone DAS player. You see that often talked about Tetris rate that we have, at every CTWC, and he is on easy 1.1 pace, and he's capable of doing it.
Yeah, but he knows he doesn't need the 1.1. He will take all the safety burns he needs, as he is right now, trying to set up for a safe Tetris, and there it is. Dan V, meanwhile, he might need some 29 play again, which was the thorn in his side in that last game, but he should be able to get really close.
Yeah, he has enough runway, especially because these later levels are worth just so much more than 18 and 19. He's kind of got a money ball situation, in front of him. 800,000 points at this point in the game is well within his range to max out. He's got to keep it clean and efficient for the next couple levels, and he can tie this up with a neat little bow before kill screen with what he's got in front of him.
Yeah, if he can get these final Tetrises. And Green Tea is continuing to go. He's still on track. 753 at level 23. It's exactly where you want to be.
Yeah, and this is where that 1.1 pace came in from earlier. Is he is now playing a little safer than he needs to. You see this 20 bar drought that he just got hit by. And having that little bit of buffer is crucial. As Dan V is on the kill screen.
Oh, will he get it this time?
Lines. Just one more and that bar will do it.
He's pumping his fist. He's happy this time. He gets it. Oh no, Green Tea needs something quick. Okay.
Yeah, he's got that right side open and his left built out. He can burn this.
He has no more burns available. He needs a long bar now.
Yeah.
Oh no, and there it is. Okay, his game is saved.
Yeah.
He needed that though.
That as a DAS player is one of the worst situations you can be in, where you are just out of burns because something hung. And all you can do is sit there and pray the game gives you a gift.
So that is where Green Tea's strong pace came in, because now he is needing that in order to get out of this situation.
Yeah.
A max is still possible, but he'll need to clean this out and get those final Tetrises. So he might have to even play dirty here.
Yep.
And he knows
he's
it.
Setting up.
Yeah.
He didn't even hesitate. This is a really weird well to play off of. But
he's getting droughted.
Oh, no. Yeah, misses the quick tap on the tee, and another 800K for Green Tea. That's not even his kicker.
And that's tough, but he knew the situation. He got droughted, a 20-piece drought. In that situation, you just have to go for it. So that was the right move to do there.
Yeah, that's just one of those limitations of DAS play is you have to make those judgment calls late in the game. If your board is not in a set position at that point, you have to make those quick fire, weird well positions. And Green Tea has a lot of experience with that kind of end game play. It's one of the greatest skills a DAS player can have as far as consistency, which is what he's looking for today. But it doesn't matter how consistent you are as a player. If you do not get that bar in that situation, your game is over and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Because you have that hard cap at 29. And there is enough time to max for 29, but there's a lot less leeway than if you're a Dan V who can, play all the way he needs to, because there's no line cap in claws. He could do this with all singles if he wanted to. It would just be a waste.
So Kitaro is going to top out at 509. We'll see if he submits that.
Yeah, looks like he is.
Yeah, because we got some very tight scoreboard watching here. So Chris Bidwell, talked to him yesterday. He is looking to set the record for longest gap in between making it into a bracket at CTWC. The last time he made it in was 2013. So if he can make it in this year, it will be a 12-year gap, something like that. But he is going to be right on the precipice because Kitaro will push him down. Eventually, Vince could push him down. So that would put him at.
Oh, Vince is more than could push him. Vince will.
I think he's
scrap for this.
Yeah, Bidwell is going to be down to the very last seed very quickly, so he'll be right on the precipice.
Yeah, he's probably going to have to outduel some of the players, at that 110, 109 general range.
Yeah, he'll want a high 500K, it's looking like at this point.
Yeah, so it is possible for him, but he is going to need to play well, and he is...
Yeah, it might be our 11-year-old off on the side. I see him qualifying over there. He might be the difference between Bidwell making it.
I don't actually know his name. I think that might have been Axel who showed up briefly in our top 8 zone. I see. Yeah, we're getting confirmation from
on his name.
The lovely qualifying
11-year-old with the
stable.
600K PB that we have never seen before. His very first event.
Yep. Yeah, and we also have, I noticed on our qualifying board, we have Sight, the 3rd member of Team Japan over on CT2, submitting a 540K already. I have not seen much of Sight since Waku Waku, a couple of years ago, it feels like. So he is going to be like another one of those interesting wild cards to look out for. I don't know what the extent of his capabilities are.
Oh my gosh!
So he could be a silver sneak in. He could even be a gold sneak in. I don't know. So keep an eye out on him. Make sure you have that CT2 stream open because we have more good players. Obviously, these are the best of the best we got on CT1. The return of Corian and Green Tea is just magical. But we have good players on all 3 streams right now.
I just remembered, Corian has not, I believe, submitted a score yet. Because Corian knows he's capable of multiple maxes. So
yeah, like he got like a 600K at one point. Like
he knows his kicker will be higher than that.
Yeah.
So.
Like,
but we'll see. With this game, he might be going for a kicker because it's rough for max out pace, especially after that misdrop. But he could put up a 800, maybe 900K with this game if he finishes strong, which would be a good score to just throw up there.
Yeah, because that's one of the things about like, in this, hyper tapper range of play is you want to, and he hangs.
He's waiting for a T
bar.
and he's just not getting,
Yeah. Oh my God, why is he's still up there? Yeah, not even gonna submit. Yeah, that's the thing about this, like, hyper tapper range of play, even as elite as one is, you do kind of, at some point have to take a score early in the session just to have one. And you do want it to at least get to kill screen.
Yeah.
And he has just been kind of still finding his footing on that level 19 phase of the game. His 18's been pretty good so far, but 18 does not determine a qualifying score by itself.
Yeah, so as far as max out watch, Dan V on pace for another one. He'll probably be our player racking up max outs every 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, have people in chat mentioning that, brackets are not final. This qualifying session will finalize the bracket. We have more people still to make it up and down, possibly a couple of dropouts from our wonderful staff who just do not have time to actually play in a bracket. I know I didn't even attempt to qualify. I was so busy. I sat at that qualifying table entering scores for almost 7 uninterrupted hours yesterday. There was no time.
Very nice survival from Corian up at the top. He's shaking his head, but that was great survival with tap.
Yeah.
Usually you only see rollers derping around up that high. But he made it work. And it's a delicate dance, especially for all the staff members who also play. Last year, because I was doing commentary for CT1 during gold brackets, I forfeited qualifying because I knew I wouldn't be available. This year, we have so many great commentators. I'm doing the quals instead with you, so it actually frees me up to play.
Yeah, and I know there's a couple of staff members who are actually game time decisions right now, and we have that functionality in the spreadsheet because of how I rebuilt it. We can literally add or remove people at the press of a button right now. So, don't take it as read that all the players on these qualifying leaderboards will play. Most of the gold bracket people, I believe, will play just because it's gold bracket. That's the one that we're really here for.
Yeah, I don't expect a single dropout with gold brackets, but we might get some for silver. And right now, Dan V trying to close out another max here.
Yeah.
Got 2 Tetrises to go.
And I believe those 2 Tetrises will do it. Yeah, they will.
Yeah. Can get this before 29, nice and easy, but can also just take it safe.
Yeah, I think he knows he needs to fill that dependency. That was not a good dependency. It left him little options to burn.
He can get this with a few more lines.
Yeah, like this is well and doable for him, and there he goes. Closes it out on level 30.
Max out for Dan V, and Bidwell during his qual ringing the bell. That's how dedicated he is to the bell.
Yep.
So Dan V marching towards gold bracket. We see him now in 61st place silver. He will get a much higher with that next max. And now we have max out watch again for Green Tea. A max is possible with this game. He's not quite on the strong pace he was last game, but if he doesn't run into a major dig, he would be able to do it.
That dependency, the key tuck is going to do wonders for him there, but that
he needs a long bar now.
Ooh.
It's possible.
He's trying to burn out that long bar dependency, but he's up really high.
Oh my gosh, if he gets another long bar, his game is saved.
Oh, these squares are legendary, and
he
then
gets
he
it.
goes.
It gets the spin, perfect.
Wow.
What a recovery from Green Tea, showing off dash skills in 2025. So this is very, very borderline max out possible. He will need a really, really strong final 3 levels, and he knows it. He needs a long bar now, and he gets it. It's still possible, but he knows the pieces are not quite working out here. Okay, that was good. Gets the tuck, gets the line piece over. Oh, no!
God. Yeah, that was a very aggressive spire up there. If he not just lost dash, if he had slightly imperfect dash, a piece could have easily caught on that spire that he wasn't expecting, and that would have just been game over.
That was great management, though. He survived a long time with that. Very precarious situation.
Yeah, and knows that that's not even his kicker, doesn't even think about submitting it.
Yep.
I think I saw Dan V reset a 19 game early, while that dig was going on, so that's, a little bit more time he's lost. I think he's out of contention for, qualifying record, but that's probably not what he's here to do. I think he's here to, set himself up in a strong position in that top 16 range where he can kind of, end his qualifying session, take it easy for a couple of hours, get acclimated back to the convention environment, and, go in that round 1 with a little bit of freshness to him, and hopefully go beyond.
Oh my gosh, and the CT2 comm team is so great. They're over here just absolutely losing their minds over Ninja with a 1 off of max.
Yeah, I believe that's Wiley Kent and Fractal over there. God, love both of those guys. Wiley is just one of the biggest hype men I've ever seen, fresh out of Australia, and obviously you know who Fractal is, one of our world champions, just one of the nicest guys in the scene. Does things behind the scene just, for good measure. Just a wonderful ambassador for this game.
Yeah, and just to confirm for people in the chat here, they don't see Corion on the list. So Corion has not submitted a score yet because he knows he's capable of maxes.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, the team entering qualifying scores directly to our left are not entering scores directly off the board. A game does not count unless the player specifically chooses to submit it, and it will be entered after the judge has documented it, and that documentation has reached the scorer's table.
And we saw that yesterday with SV, who had the opportunity to submit multiple kickers but refused. I think because he just wanted a 0 kicker.
I was talking to him about it afterwards. I was kind of making fun of him. I'm like, there are numbers in between 0 and 1,000,000, right? And he's like, yeah, but if I don't hit a max out and I know I'm capable of maxing out every game, then what's the point? I feel like that game wasn't really worth anything to me, so I'm not going to bother. And he didn't bother.
Yeah, he got plenty of max outs to get a top seed in gold. So we will see. Corion is on max out watch this game.
Yeah, this is the Corion that we are familiar with.
Yeah, and there's another Tetris. So Corion could get his first score up here today. If he even gets a 700, 800K, we hope he submits it.
Yeah.
But it's entirely up to the player whether they want to do it. And Corion, I think, has the same attitude maybe as SV. Knows what he's capable of, doesn't want to submit anything below that.
Yeah, I know we had a player yesterday who actually realized their kicker was lower than they thought it would be, and it turns out that they just forgot to submit. That does happen sometimes. We did have video proof of it, so we did actually add it to the bracket, but it is a player's responsibility to say, I have got a score that I'm happy with. Obviously, for the max out score, they will submit it every single time, but for these kickers, they do have that leeway.
Yeah, so Corion is locked in here. He would love to get a max here. It would feel great. Get some momentum in for the rest of his qual. Perfect board, and there's a Tetris for Corion.
And 30 minutes in, he is he is looking for his first one.
And another Tetris. So typically for a max out, you want to get 800K by 26. That's the big checkpoint, and he's at 800K by 25. So it's looking good. Yep, take the burn, gets the dependency filled out. Ooh, left is a little tough. Gets, oh no!
Oh no, that was a dash possible tap.
Line P, okay, L, that's good, that's good. It gives him a chance. Oh no, oh no! He had the J for the right and the L for the left, but didn't quite get it. But we'll see if he submits that one. Okay, he is submitting it. So Corian will get on the board. And that unfortunately will push Bidwell out of bronze.
For now.
For now. So Bidwell will need to improve his score to stay in bronze.
God, it is wonderful to have these international players back, for the first time, since those online years. We are missing some of our wonderful international players this year. I know the big headline name is going to be Sidnev. Just could not do it this year. And we have plenty of, lesser known top players who just haven't been able to make it out. And I hope they do make it out one day.
Yeah. Neko from Russia.
Yeah, Neko especially, a top 5 player in the world right now, who it's possible that many people watching this have just not heard of because he, grinds the online circuit, but getting to a live event is going to be very difficult for him.
Yeah, and that's just, that's logistics with the world, and that was the logistics for Green Tea and Corian for a while. It's just hard to travel from so far away, and so we're really glad that there was the opportunity with a game and a sponsorship and everything this year to make it possible to have them here.
Yeah, no use crying over spilled milk. Let's celebrate what we got in front of us.
Yeah. So this might be an opportunity while we're early in some games and Dan V is on pace for another comfortable max out. So Marfram has done an unbelievable amount of work along with several other members of the community to build an Omni stats sheet over the past year. So how do you describe the process of the journey of making this sheet?
Oh my God. So it started with an idea in some obscure YouTuber. His name is Game Scout. He had this idea of what if we had, stats in the vein of a baseball reference or, any of those classic sports databases that we can just look up every game that's ever happened, every home run a player's hit, every pass a QB is thrown, all that, without having to watch the entire history of every single video we have. And the two of us did that for CTM. We got Corian with a double flip.
Oh, and he saves the game.
Oh my God. He's joked about it before. He used to have a habit of every single year, that's how his games ended, but he cleanly burns out of it there. But yeah, the two of us together got every single game on record for CTM. And in the past year, we have a team of people who, through a Herculean effort, have gotten Classic Tetris League data all on deck. We have CTWC data coming in. We are missing some from the early years, so we haven't yet published that, so that you can see it. I wish we could have, but there's just so much archival footage from 10 years ago that we are tracking down. And what this allows us to do is I can put it all together in my fancy spreadsheets and make use of it and come up with numbers that answer questions that we have never been able to answer before.
Yeah, so I'll add some quick context for that. The big problem we always had is in order to have good stats, you want good recent sample sizes for players. And CTM was a start. The Masters event was a start for the top players. But again, it's a quick knockout stage bracket for the lower rounds. And there's another max out for Dan V.
Just casually puts it away on level 31 once again.
Yeah. So we'd only have a good sample size for maybe the top 10 players or so recently in CTM Masters. So adding CTL, where every top player plays each other twice every season, gave us great data for the recent past 3 months, which is what has been used for the Premier Poll. It's been used for other stuff. And we'll take a quick look at Green Tea. Going for the max here before we continue. He is on pace. There's another Tetris.
Knocks it down.
902. 3 more Tetrises to go. 2 more Tetrises to go.
Corian's in a dig too. This is, oh my God, why is he building for a Tetris
1 more
here?
Tetris to go. The first max out for Team Japan. could happen here. Green team knows the setup where he needs to
He's
set up.
only
There it is.
1 bar away.
1 bar away. He's got burns in hand. He's going to take the burns. He's got plenty of lines to finish setting this up. Okay.
Dependency, 1 Mino, gonna burn it out with the T. He's
And there it is! Max out for Green T! His first max out in CTWC live competition since his legendary double max game versus Joseph Saley in 2019.
At the time, not even questionable, the best set of Tetris that had ever been played. And with that one game, with that one stroke of the long bar down that well, he has already locked in a pretty decent seed in silver. But this is Green Tea we're talking about. He's not happy with a decent silver seed.
Oh my goodness, yeah, and we hear the banter between Green Tea and Corian up there saying, "Do it!"
Yeah, they're. I can hear them up there cheering each other on, like coaching each other. Like these guys are, operating as a unit. They are trying to bring pride to their country because we have just not had that Japanese representation in what feels like just too long.
All right, so now that all these games are early on, we can finish discussing the culmination of this amazing match stats database, which combines CTM, CTWC, and most critically, the CTL stats.
Yes, that took so much data entry. I really want to give a specific shout out to Katsugiri, to Zempro, to Onpu, because we would not have had this without them spending tens, hundreds of hours sitting in front of VODs in order to write down all these stats that we need, to give you this information that we just would not have otherwise. And now that we have it, we have so many exciting stats that you might, hear a little in the bracket. As I'm going to be feeding them to the commentators.
Yeah, so I guess to give a brief introduction to this, so this has allowed you to put together a sheet of stats of who the actual top players are in the past 3 months. Right now, who's performing the best. So how will you introduce the players we have to look forward to?
Well, the most important stat, pretty much the first proper advanced stat that we made is just one called fair median score. It basically, there's a little bit more technical details, but all you need to know is the question it is trying to answer is what score do you need to get to consistently beat this player? On a more than 50% win rate. Right. And it is our best approximation of what a player's overall competition power is. And right now, there is one man who stands alone above the rest of the scene in the past 3 months, in 2025, and since last CTWC, and it is Dog playing Tetris. He has a 1.5 fair median score in the past 3 months. That is absurd. That is obscene. He is practically rolling over. He's rolling over like at least a quarter, maybe 40% of his games. Which is just unheard of. He is on an absolute heater lately, and he's going to be the biggest one to watch.
Yeah, so to put that in context for people, so what that means, if his fair median score is 1.5, that means if you're playing a 5-game set against him, you will probably need to get higher than a 1.5 3 games out of 5 to beat him.
Yeah, and if he's playing well, if he's on a top level run for his standards, which on the CTWC stage he has done on many occasions, you will need to roll over multiple times a set. I prepared specifically for this tournament what happened, not just what the middle of their range is, but more towards the upper portion, their top 25%. And his top 25% games are beyond 1.6 million every single game. They're like 1.66 million. And that's what you have to do, not once, not twice, but 3 times, is match that level of scoring power in order to take out just this one player. And we have, other players who have, really high numbers like this, who are just up and down, those top 16 seeds. But he is going to be the man to watch this tournament.
Right, and so in addition to fair median score, which was what we started out with, which is just showing the middle point.
Yeah.
Marfam also prepared upper quartile and lower quartile, showing that 75% and 25% benchmark. And Dog's 25% benchmark is perhaps even more impressive because a lot of players, they go very aggressive. So some games they score high, but then a lot of other games they crash out early. Dog, his lower 25% mark is 1.3 million.
Yeah, and that is absurd. His off days, his not his worst days, but the days where it's like I'm just not feeling it today, are still better than all but 2 other people on the planet. That is just not okay. He is unreal in his consistency. And this is exactly the time to get hot, is in CTWC season. The only 2 players who, on their average days, are better than his off days are Blue Scooty and Alex T.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, so before we move on here, I want to give a quick reminder to everybody that Hank Rogers, the founder of the Tetris Company, again, the legendary figure in the scene who brought over Tetris from Russia to the United States, will be signing his book, his tell-all book, The Perfect Game, from 11:30 to 11:45. There'll be a book signing over on the side here. So if you want to meet Hank Rogers, there was a fantastic feature film made about him last year called The Tetris Movie. You can meet the man himself. So we appreciate Hank and the Tetris Company for supporting us and being here, as always, every year. And Dan V, just 2 Tetrises away from another max. We'll see if he can slam it down.
Oh, this is a really weird well to play off of. This kind of
Yeah, he might need some 29 play here. Just
dead
burn
center
it down.
off the bottom. He has burn chances right here with his piece, buddy. Oh, that misdrop is.
Oh, these are bad pieces.
But he gets it done into 29. Gets that bar just in time.
Shaking his head a little bit. Yeah, that was tough.
A little forehead tap. He knew what he had right there, and it was a Tetris opportunity, and he got it.
He clutched it out though. But meanwhile, we are on Max Out Watch again for Green Tea. Here we go. Green Tea making a run to have a stellar CTM or CTWC qual. We'll see how high he can get. He is on pace again. Again, you want to get 800K by 26, and he is only 110K away from that, with 3 levels to go. How can he navigate this? He needs like 1 good piece. Oh, and a dirty Tetris for Green Tea. The perfect way to burn down there.
Take a shower, buddy. That was off the wall, off the floor. What is he doing? And he's back to what is basically a clean board. Nothing ever happened.
And there's the perfect tuck to resolve the board. Now it is perfectly clean, waiting for the Tetris. Got burns available, locked and loaded. Where's the bar? Where's the bar?
He's fine. He's got that right side open, takes the triple. He's got the runway to do that because of how well he's been scoring up until now. That clutch dirty is going to do some work for him. Oh, but he hangs on the left.
Oh, so this is tough now. Now he is going to need a really clean final 3 levels in order to get this max.
Yeah, this is the power play portion of the pre-29 and for DAS players pretty much the whole game.
Okay, so that was very fortunate pieces. He knows the pace is right on border, so he's going to be going aggressive. He needs the right pieces here, though. Needs something for the left. These burns, it's allowing him to survive, but he does not want to take more burns if he can help it. And he's getting droughted at the worst possible time.
Yeah, he does not have a lot of burns to give, and this board state is going to require, pretty much all of them.
Oh, he's going to be able to improve his kicker at least.
Yeah. Ooh, maybe not with that hang.
Oh, he's going for it. He gets a line piece,
but it doesn't really do much for him. That was only a double or a triple. He has improved his kicker by a factor of a couple thousand points.
He might be able to squeeze 1 more Tetris out here. Not right here. His board's too dirty, but he can at least make it to 29.
Yeah. Yeah, every point here is going to matter for his kicker, and that's going to do it. No way a dash player gets left and right.
Yeah. It'll improve his kicker.
Yeah. So.
All right, and so now again, while we're early with all 3 of these players, it might be a great time to go into the stats of perhaps the attention on 2 recent incredible achievements done in the community by Dengler and Blue Scooty.
Yes.
The first perfect 18 max and the first perfect 19 max. So no, a lot of people will be curious, what are the stats like for Scooty and Dengler?
Scooty, it's really not complicated. He's the second best player in the world right now, and it's not particularly close between him and number 3. His fair median score, his upper quartile are well ahead, and even his off days, that lower quartile is still pretty competitive with the likes of your Alex T's and your memes of the world.
Yeah, so to put in perspective for people, the reason why we say Dog is the clear number 1 and Scooty is the clear number 2, this FMS stat, Dog is the only player at a 1.5. Blue Scooty is the only player at a 1.4. Everybody else is 1.3 and below.
Yeah, and it's not like they're just squeaking over that line. They have a full Tetris's worth of points of separation between that nice round number. They are the two to beat. I know on our Premier poll, which is kind of a new fixture of the scene, it's kind of dominated a lot of discussion lately about who are the best players in the world, who ranks where. Dog is currently number 1, and will even if he doesn't win CTWC, will likely still be number 1 the next time the Premier poll comes out. He's just had that good of a season. But before Dog took over, the one who had 7 consecutive months at number 1 was Blue Scooty. So even if Dog is on a heater right now, the boy who beat Tetris is one to watch out for.
Yeah, and another stat we have available is the fair 19 and 29 and 38 percentages, which are really measuring, because a lot of times what you can bank on, even if you're a lesser player, is you're like, well, at least if I play safe and I play my best, I might be able to squeak some games here and there if my opponent tops out early.
Yep.
If we look at the fair 29 percentage, which is, again, the percentage of games a player makes it to level 29 without intentionally topping out, there's only 2 players I can see with a 100% fair 29 percentage in the last 3 months.
Yep, on the whole sheet with a reasonable sample size, it is Dog playing Tetris and Meme.
Yeah.
Not Alex T, not Blue Scooty. They have both topped out on the 19 phase before. Not even the uber consistent Hufflepuffus been that way since the tapping days, but Meme specifically. She is going to be one that I believe, those of you who watch, more on an annual basis, just the CTWC, are not going to be as familiar with. She did make gold bracket last year and got a really nice upset win in our round of 48. But after that, kind of spawned in as a perennial top 5, top 3 player. I believe right now she is number 4 in fair median score, and she could win it all.
Right. So that's the thing where you want to get an early, an easy win against Dog and Meme. It ain't gonna happen.
No. You need to play 2 kill screen, and you need to play beyond kill screen, because we also have stats on how far they make it. Not to 39, because the difference between making it to almost that line cap and past that line cap really doesn't matter. So we use 38 for that one specifically. For DAS players, we would probably do the same thing with 28, but we're looking at who's going to win today. As far as getting deep into that kill screen run, Dog makes it to level 38 6 times out of 10.
That is absolutely absurd.
We ran stats on this only a couple of years ago, and even in the best sessions we could track from the best players in the world, specifically lining out for the purpose of going as far as possible, they couldn't do this 40% of the time. And here is Dog doing it while also trying to put up the best pace he can against an active opponent. 60% of the time he makes it pretty much to that line cap. And right behind him in that stat are Blue Skitty at 46% and Meme at 42%.
And Dan V, another max out on the board. That is up to 5 max outs for Dan V. He's already in the gold bracket, so now this is just gravy.
Yeah, he is set in the gold bracket. It would take a freak deviation for him to be knocked out at this point, and he has, how long do we have left? Over an hour? Yeah, he'll be fine.
So, but perhaps the most interesting player we have to talk about in stats is the Dengler himself. So he really shows the power of looking at these stats and what you can learn about players.
Yeah.
So Dengler, of course, famous for, he is the master of pace.
Yes.
And how do we know that?
For several reasons. I mean, obviously we saw him yesterday put out, how many maxes was it? I didn't see. I was at the scoring table, so I don't even like.
He got 12.
Yeah, I don't even internalize how many maxes people were getting because
Yeah.
I'm in data entry mode. But 12 is honestly an underperformance from him. We've seen
Right,
him,
right.
you know, put up like 14, 15, like it's nothing the past couple of years. But in competition against an active opponent where every single point matters, as far as his average score going into the kill screen, he stands alone at the top. He has a 1.1 average into the kill screen. That is insane.
Yeah,
consistency.
The only other players who have a 1.1 into kill screen are Dog and Alex T.
Yeah.
So,
and that's with the consideration, because we have a stat for this that takes into consideration games where you don't make 29. Because, you know, if you don't make 29, then that's kind of your score into 29, and that, you know, deserves to be counted in your pre-29. That's with that included, and his consistency making the kill screen in the first place is maybe 3 out of 4 in competition lately, and that's kind of the interesting thing about him is when he turns on this I need to score every single last point mode, he pays for it with some of that pre-kill screen consistency. He has like some of the lowest, you know, rates of making 19 of, you know, this tippy top level of perennial top 10 players. And, you know, I've fought this in previous years that could come back to bite him, but we saw it happen last year where he buckled down, he made the semis like it was absolutely nothing last year, and he could do it again, but he could just as easily, you know, bomb out in the top 16, and we just don't know.
yeah, so that is the cost of Dingler's incredible pace. So again, Dingler, one of only 3 players, again, the highest into 29 score consistently, over a 1.1, only one of 3 players to have that mark. But out of the top 10 players, he's also the only player with a lower than 80% lower than 80% into 29 rate.
Yeah.
So I think it's 77%. So that means about 23% of the time before 29, he'll give you a very easy win as an opponent.
And
now the other times it'll be a hard win, but you know, if what it basically means is that because he tops out early at a higher rate, if he has that happen twice in a set, it gives the opponent a big chance for an upset.
Yeah. And as far as these players qualifying is, we've kind of been letting them do their thing.
Oh my gosh, and Corian going for his max out here.
Green Tea missing on what could have been a chance, but Corian
2 Tetrises away for Corian.
Yeah, this is just.
Oh no, he needs long bars now.
Oh, that dependency hurts.
Oh no!
Easy street.
Oh!
But no, and that's how it can be for these non-rolling players. Even with Corian being one of the most consistent hyper tappers on the planet, has had that 13 hertz, just, you know, on command for his entire, like, at this point, like 10-year career.
Yeah.
All it takes is a couple of weird dependencies, you know, difficulty burning and a weird piece sequence, and it took what looks like a beyond max out game, and it just fell apart in an instant.
Now, did we get that game submitted? I think
Yeah,
maybe
he did submit that game.
Cool, yeah. That does improve his kicker.
Yeah, I can see the score runner bringing it to the stats table right now, and so they will get that in. I have to shout out my lovely. We have some just crowd noise that's doing their best to interrupt my train of thought. But yeah, I have to shout out my lovely stats team that I have over on qualifying, because as much as I would love to do this all by myself, not really. I love having, you know, these wonderful people helping me get these scores in, get them verified, get them double, triple checked as we did. And so we have Jade Hart and Wingfryer over to my left who are covering for me. Yeah, Wingfryer especially does so much for the scene, but this weekend it has been Diane, Jade Hart, you know, on the stats table with me, getting all of these potential issues just resolved like it's nothing. And that matters for, you know, these players deserve to be placed exactly where they qualified. And we are out here verifying the integrity of the tournament, and it's happened, and it is all thanks to them.
So we'll look at a sort of seeding watch for Dan V. He is on the verge of getting his 6th max out. So in order to make the top 16, which is really a benchmark for these top players so they can get a first round bye, he will need 12 max outs and a good kicker. So his kicker's good enough. So all he needs is the 12 max outs, and he can get halfway there with this, and that's before the 1 hour mark. So he'll be on pace.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the benefits of, getting that weird max miss in like the early stages is he doesn't even have to think as far as games that don't max out. He doesn't have to like consider like, oh, is this going to be a good kicker score? Like, and especially late in the session, if a game starts off a little weird, he can just reset, try again. Doesn't matter because all he wants is that 1,000,000-point game.
Yeah. So again, that kicker score, although it was painful to miss that max, it does help him out in the long run, because if he can get 12 maxes, that kicker will automatically put him above Dengler, Guafi, and Huff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and so he will easily nab that first round bye with 12, and every seed upwards in that zone still has the potential to matter for having different opponents, and it's not a 1-to-1 translation just because of the nature of qualifying.
Yeah.
But, could be an easier opponent every time he goes up in seed, and there he does with another max.
And there it is. Oh, and something's happened on CT2. See, Ninja finally got his max after that one off earlier.
Yep. You got to keep all of these streams on. We have CT1 with with the big headliners, but CT2 they are going ballistic right now.
Yeah.
You'd think he won the championship, and the crowd is chanting.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. So
yeah, I don't think Alex T popped off that hard last year when he won, and that's like the pop-off machine.
It brings back memories of when even a single max meant a lot. I remember Josh Tolles was the guy who used to do that way back in the day.
Oh my God.
You'd hear, yeah, boom shakalaka, over in the corner of the room.
I hear legends of what he did to venues whenever he maxed out in person. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. All right. So while we're still early with all these players, we can again go back into a little bit of stats. So again, Dog's the number 1. Blue Scooty's the number 2. But now who rounds out our top 3, 4, and 5 here?
Yeah, 3 and 4 are a little harder to determine. It's in some order, Alex T and me. Not really a question there. Yeah. Which you prefer is really just up to, who's hot that day, what stats you think are going to be more important. Because Alex T does have that much better pre-29 play. He's, just barely shy of the Dengler as far as like overall like 29 into 29 consistency and scoring power. But as far as once that kill screen hits, it's meme all the way. So it really just depends on what you value, which is better. And then past that point, we just have a, absolute like chaotic group of players that could just be anyone. Fractal kind of like headlines, I think probably that number 5 slot among people who are here.
Right.
But we're going to be tracking like the Dengler, we're going to be tracking Huff, Dan V are all like, those like favorites to make top 8 and possibly beyond.
But I think the clear thing I'm seeing from the stats is that we have a clear number 1, a clear number 2, and a clear 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So our top 4 are Scooty, Dog first, and then Scooty, and then Meme and Alex T.
And the more I look at these stats, the more I think Fractal is probably that 5th player.
Yeah.
But you never know, because we've had this happen before where we focus on stats in order to predict the future.
Right.
Something always happens that makes us look like a right wally after we make our predictions. Someone goes on a weird run, like possibly a Tristop 2024, and just annihilates a couple of top players out of nowhere that we just, we knew Tristop could, but predicting that he would be crazy until it happened.
Yeah.
And you never know which top player is just going to like, have an off day, that, lower quartile zone, and, suffer a weird early exit.
Now, I will say, the reason that, again, why I'm so glad Marfram and Zembro and Katsuguri and Ampu have done all these stats is again, the real big thing was we needed bigger sample sizes recently.
Yes.
And it retroactively would have made our predictions in the past a lot more accurate.
Yes.
So for example, Blue Scooty, I got a lot of flack for completely missing him in CTWC 2023, his third place run. And the reason for that is because we did not have CTL stats.
Yes.
So Scooty's master stats were not very good because he was a player rapidly on the rise. But he did really, really well in the CTL season right before CTWC. And now that we have those stats, we see that Scooty was actually a really strong statistical player going into CTWC. We just didn't have the stats.
It was still absolutely his breakout run, like the run of his life up until that point.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about him once.
Right.
I had him in the back of my mind as I've heard about his record in CTL, but that's having a win-loss record, to quote, doesn't really fit in our old pre-show format of we have 15 minutes to talk about every player on Earth.
Yeah.
And so he kind of became a line item that got cut from the script,
Right.
in that final zone, and he made us pay for it.
Yeah.
What were we gonna do? He chose that day and that day specifically to mint himself as a top player, and it's possible somebody else does it.
Here we go, max out watch for Corian. We'll hope the commentator curse isn't here this time. He's got so much time in the world to get these final 2 Tetrises.
Yeah.
He just needs 2 more, or 1 and change, honestly. Just take the triple.
Yeah.
Just 1 more Tetris could do it. Yeah. Well, there it is! Max out for Corian!
And max out for Green Tea on the left.
Oh my goodness!
His own game.
Double max out for Team Japan!
That's what we came here to see. That's what they flew across the ocean to do.
Do it! Just do it!
All right. So that's going to be, I got to take a look at the rest of the seating because we do have them, obviously on the right side of this Twitch stream and YouTube stream, this leaderboard, but I want to see where they rank after that
right.
among the rest of players, and I'm going to take a look at that. Looks like with that second max out, Green Tea is probably going to take over that number 61 seed, so not a huge boost yet. Third one, just because of the crazy amount of max outs we have nowadays, even in live events. It's going to take 4, probably 5 for him to break into that gold bracket. Actually, already, the cutoff is 4 as we speak. You need 4 to make gold, and one of these players will most likely surpass that. So poor Salted Sofa put up 4 max outs and a 900 kicker, and is going to be most likely, or most possibly, in silver bracket for his troubles.
Yeah, so now the cutoffs for all of gold, silver, and bronze are starting to come into view now that we have all our final players putting up scores, and they're all kind of shifting into position. Dan V is for sure, we all knew he was going to make gold, but now he's rapidly on pace to getting a top seed. So now it comes down to, can Corian, or perhaps even Green Tea, put on a magical run in this final hour to make gold bracket again for the first time in many years?
I don't remember if a DAS player has ever gotten more than 4 max outs in a specifically CTWC qual. I know that's been kind of like the watermark for DAS players before. I think he himself hit that in 2021. I know Quade's did it. A couple of other players have maxed out, 4 times in our 2-hour session format. As Dan V looking to close this one out, a little early in level 29. This is just a line out for him.
Yeah, just a few more lines. He doesn't need to do anything crazy here. 997, 998. 1 more should do it. No, 999, 80. Oh my goodness.
There he goes. He ain't listening to you, Scout. He knows his numbers.
Oh my gosh, that would have been 19 points away from a max out.
Yep. Yeah, God, imagine topping out. Because you think that one single is going to do it, and you're that close, and that's why he got those couple of extra lines just in case.
Yeah, you always go for an extra couple lines. Yeah, when you're a player. Just to be 100% sure.
Yep.
But so let's take a look at this. So Corian at 1 max out, and he's got a good kicker. Green Tea at 2 max outs. So what is the cutoff here for gold?
The cutoff right now, like I said, is 4 max outs and a 900K.
What 900K exactly? 927. Okay,
yeah.
So Green Tea would need to improve his kicker.
Yeah, Corian's got the kicker. He just needs to max his.
Right. So that kicker is really, really important actually, because it it accounts for your maxes. So Green Tea, even if he cannot get a max, it will be very important for him to get a mid 900K.
Yeah.
It is worth it to play out a game if he can get that 900K.
And honestly, most games that make it to that spot for Green Tea specifically are going to be possible. Oh wow, he started pushing down a little bit. I think he's feeling the time pressure as we're now 55 minutes left in the qualifier, and it's kind of, you know, the state of the game's crystallizing for him. He's realizing that, hey, I'm on these level 18 lines that I've played about 4 squintillion times. You know, I can, you know, grab some extra seconds here just by pushing down here and there. Obviously, he's not going to start on level 19. That would be crazy. But, you know, he can at least, you know, save himself a bit of time here, and that could be the difference between having an extra attempt at the end of the session and not.
All right, so yeah. So both Green Tea and Corian are locking in. They each need 3 good games.
Mm-hmm.
So Green Tea needs, again, 2 maxes and the mid 900K. Corian just needs the 3 maxes.
Yep.
So
yeah. So and you know they could.
It's plenty of time to do it. It's possible.
Yeah, and these 2 players could at any moment just go on a weird bender of 3 games where they max out all 3 like it's absolutely nothing.
And
we don't know.
We have seen that from a vet before. I remember in 2022, Jeff, of course, the beloved vet, Boom Tetris for Jeff, he got 4 maxes in his qual as a DAS player to get back into gold bracket.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, that was a huge overperformance for him. I mean, he's very skilled, but nobody was expecting that from him. So he showed it could be done. He had that skill in him.
Yeah, and I was mentioning before, it's like we have a few DAS players who have hit that 4, but, you know, 5 or 6 has been like kind of a difficult point. At least at CTWC, I believe I heard from someone at some point that Sharky got 6 at Jonas Cup.
Yeah, I think he had an hour and a half. Yeah, so
that
that was
90-minute qual.
Yeah, that
so
was
it
fantastic.
Can be done.
Yeah.
But it just on this stage hasn't quite yet. So, you know, maybe it could be Green Tea who you know, breaks that mold.
So again, we will be on, let's say, what is the exact mark Green Tea needs to get? 930K?
920 something, but hold that thought. I'm not spreadsheeting because I see someone we haven't really talked a lot about, Kitaru.
Oh my goodness, yeah, Kitaru could get a max here.
Yeah, we've been focusing on like, oh yeah, the first round bye in Team Japan, but let's not forget that Kitaru has done it before and will do it again on a moment's notice. This guy is, I believe, like maybe the 3rd, you know, player with max out on video, maybe 4th or 5th, something like that.
Oh my gosh,
he goes way back.
There was a time when Kitaru was considered the prodigy kid of the scene.
Yeah. That's a weird thought. Is the fact that the scene has even been around that long. Like, how many players who are in our gold bracket like weren't born when Kitaru was like that up and coming player when, you know, the tournament was founded?
Yeah, so we'll see what Kitaru can do here. He's probably out of maxed out range just because of this really brutal drought at the wrong time, but he still can get a strong 900K. Would love to put that up. That'll get him a great seed in silver at least. Oh man, the pieces are just not working out.
I don't think he has the time.
Yeah, there's a Tetris.
Yeah.
There's a Tetris.
That burn will completely, you know, nix the chance. But this will be a good 900K.
We'll see if he. Maybe thought about setting up the center wall there, but it's just going to go for one more Tetris. It'll get him a solid 900K if he can get it. Just waiting for the right pieces. He doesn't have a single line to give. He needs 2 line pieces. There's one, and there's the next. And we'll get some lines on 29 maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, and a 935 for Kitaru. It feels good to put up something like that.
Yeah, and I don't even remember what his previous best score is. It's fallen out of the top 8, and with how many maxes we have on the board, he's not exactly going into that general field. So I believe his last one was like, what, a 500K? So just seeing that improvement is going to be huge for him. That means he is, you know, he entered this qual session late, just did not get to the venue until after, you know, we did our countdown.
And here we go for Green Tea.
And so we'll call that warm-up over for him.
Oh, no. Okay, gets the Tetris. All right, so again, Green Tea needs 3 good games. He needs 2 maxes and a 920-something K.
Yeah, probably, we'll say 30 just for
Yeah, 930K will get him there. So he doesn't need a max this game. If he even gets 930K, that'll be okay. But he'd love to get the max.
Well, also, he we have to consider the fact that it's not just that current 48 seed he's competing against, but he's competing against his own partner in Team Japan right next to him, who can also hit that like 4 max with a high kicker or 5 max threshold, and bump another player down.
That is true. Okay, so 926. Okay, so with just a few lines, he can safely get that kicker that he needs.
Yeah, he's already in kicker range. Actually, 47 seed right now has a kicker of 950. So he.
Oh yeah, though, so that he can get another kicker. Okay, but
he has one burn. This I think is 1 burn to max.
1 burn to max. Okay, come on.
Or no burns to max.
It's not working out. Yeah. Okay, but he can get the kicker. He can get the kicker.
He is capable of an extra Tetris on 29, but he's just not set up for even one pre-29.
But this is actually really important. If he can get some points here. Get the points. Oh no. That's not good. Because he would have that kicker would have been really helpful.
Actually, that 3,000 points could have been the difference between him passing the 47 seed AV Geek with her 951 kicker.
It's okay though. It's okay.
Did not get there.
If Green Tea again, he got what he needed technically with that game in his race to gold. So now he just needs 2 maxes and he will be in.
Yeah.
Unless Corian boots him out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Corian could be the one to, play spoiler, because they are actively competing against each other right now.
All right. So Corian going again. He needs 3 maxes.
Yeah, I know these guys. Love to play, for the pride of their country, but at the same time, it is an individual sport.
Oh my gosh! And this is going to get the kicker. It's going to come down to just tiny amounts of points, because Corian's kicker is very, very close.
Yeah,
952. So that couple of points by Green Tea, if they both get 4 maxes, the tiebreaker between them will be just like the 3,000 points in the kicker.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So again, with Green Tea, he knows he needs 2 maxes. However, if he does get a higher kicker, that still will help him.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Little bit.
That could be the difference between him being on the outside looking in at that 49 seed, if Corian makes it in as well, and it's squeaking into one of those later gold bracket. Obviously, at any moment, he goes max, as Dan B just did.
Yes.
For, what was that, the 8th time in this session?
Yeah.
47 minutes left to play.
Right. So I'm sure
we've at this point we've just stopped mentioning it, because it's just like we expect this out of him and he expects it out of himself.
Right. It'll get more intense for Dan V, because these maxouts are routine now. But when we get to the end of the qual, that's when his exact seeding is going to become really important.
That's when he's got to start doing the calculus on, what do I need to get? What can I, how aggressive do I need to be? What can I reset? How much time do I need to optimize?
Yeah.
Depends on what he's going for. Because he's not yet in that range of getting a first-round bye, which in an environment like this, you want that rest.
Yeah.
And it's always possible that, those round 0 players on the lower end of the seeding spectrum aren't pushovers. It could happen, and you just do not want to be in that position if you can so help it. And the way to so help it is keep maxing, is be that top seed. And we know he's capable of it. Dan V is kind of not one of the more talked about players in the scene, which is really weird, because he's kind of been like a perennial top 10, top 15 player for as long as we've had Premier Poll data, for sure.
And Corian desperately trying to save this game. That would have been on a max-out pace, but just can't do it. But a bunch more people might know about Dan V in short order, because Dan V is actually one of the main players featured in this upcoming Blue Scooty documentary. He was very fortuitous to be able to go to France at the same time the documentary crew was going out there, and he put up a good performance that you'll see in the doc.
Yeah, but he has been kind of an under the radar player. I wouldn't call him a dark horse personally. I think he has the stats. I think he has the pedigree to back him up as just a bona fide top 10, top 15 player at any given moment. And that's kind of what he's, playing into right now, especially because, we don't have, every player worldwide at this tournament. So he is easily one of the top 10 players, in this tournament. And he wants to show it. He wants to put on a display of what he can do.
All right, so Kataru on another great transition here. Oh, with Das, he's trying to just get this down. Gets it. Oh, no, and misses the square for the burn.
Yeah.
Ah, little cheeky sticking out his tongue. He knows that's tough, but again, he's got his good score up there.
Yeah, he's got his warm up time. That's the biggest thing. Is he came into this venue, plugged his controller in, and started playing the highest level Tetris he can possibly manage, completely cold. And so I'm not terribly surprised that it's taken him a while, to really find his footing and start getting these games in, because he is warming up while also trying to, play for max score is very difficult. And, most players, at, any reasonable like max out level will, take, 10, 15, 20 minutes, depends on the player, of just 19 starts, 29 starts, whatever they want, depending on the play style, that they're just kind of, getting their mechanics ready, getting things done. And he didn't have that.
Yeah. So we will be watching Green Tea trying to get this board down for a transition. He's got a good transition score if he can get this clean. Oh, and it's not quite working out. Okay, he gets the Tetris. It'll be okay. 557, that's a very solid transition. Now, for Team Japan Watch, again, if Corian and Green Tea both want to make the gold bracket, Green Tea needs 2 maxes plus a one-off to improve his kicker. But Green Tea can, if he is the only one to get into gold bracket, he can get there with just 2 more maxes. So he would love to get a max here because he needs 2 of them. But if he gets a 960K, that's actually okay too. That does tangibly help him. Oh, no.
Oh, this is
maybe take the
weird.
burns? Oh, okay, he gets the Tetris.
No.
He gets the Tetris. He's
no,
okay.
he didn't have burns to take because of that weird, shadow piece, arrangement that now he is at the bottom of a stack that he's going to have to burn to get. And a really good couple of roof burns there.
Oh my gosh, and Corian just getting droughted into the sky.
Yeah, this happens on 18 sometimes, is you just get in a weird position, and, it's not that big of a time loss, but it is a time loss.
Oh my gosh, and DNV fighting for his life up there. That's the power of rolling. Escaped what would be a near-death situation for most players.
Yeah.
And that's important because it means he doesn't waste 5 minutes on this max attempt.
Yeah. That's time that you do not get back. You have 2 hours to get all these scores in, and it's not just one score for him. It's, 14.
Yeah, every max counts.
Yeah.
If he's going for the top 16 seed. So Green Tea trying to clean this up.
Yeah, and 42 minutes left, he's not in a position where he can just afford to miss willy-nilly. He can miss here and there, but...
Again, Green Tea would love to get at least a one-off here.
Yeah.
A max would be ideal, but a one-off would help.
Yeah, a max would drastically simplify the calculus for him.
Yeah. Oh, well, the pieces work out. He needs to fill out his left. Okay, that's a good piece for the left. Yeah, just going to take the burns. Oh, this is tough. Still needs a piece for the left. Gets it. And there's the Tetris.
Yeah, I don't even think he had to quick tap that. He is one of those masters of quick tapping like it's nothing, but he just kept his stack low enough to where he didn't even need to make that, because that is a really difficult input to make. Even if it's not one of the frame perfect taps that he is capable of doing. So better just not need it.
And Green Tea does reach the 800K checkpoint at level 26.
Yeah.
This is a comfortable pace for max out if he can safely navigate these final 3 levels and gets the right bars. He's got a perfect stack going. Oh my gosh. A little bit of a drought. You hate to see it. Okay, there's the Tetris.
Yeah, that is a drought that a player like Green Tea has seen, millions of times.
Right.
And he is well adept at handling it. His stack was low to begin the drought. He's dealing with another one right here. Takes a nice few burns to manage it.
Oh man, it's just you don't want to see droughts like this. 25-piece drought.
Yeah.
Because every Tetris counts here. But again, a one-off will help him.
Yeah.
Okay. So one more Tetris and Green Tea will critically improve his kicker, but he really wants the max.
Yeah.
He has time for this. Okay.
Oh wow.
Oh, this is going to be tough for Green Tea.
Yeah.
He might want to take the triple. Okay. He needs something. Okay.
He needs an extra one on 29.
Oh, and he doesn't have any burns to give.
Yeah,
okay.
He knows it too. He needs
this
an
is
extra.
critical. Will he get? If he can even take a triple, just take the triple. Oh my
God.
gosh. And will he get? Oh no. Okay, but that's good for Green Tea. He does improve his kicker.
Yeah, and that is exactly that break point he needed in order to potentially knock yet another player out of the bracket.
Okay. All right, so Green Tea has now gotten his kicker to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Now he just needs the 2 maxes.
Yeah, at this point, if his goal is make gold, kicker doesn't matter anymore. He needs maxes, and he needs them fast. We have 40 minutes to go.
Okay. But that's good. I mean, Green Tea's definitely shown he's got it in him to get 2 more maxes.
Yeah, he's just that late stage play it's just the biggest pressure scenario, and one little misdrop can send your board kind of spiraling. One drought like that 25 he just had there. If not managed in like just the right way, because it is a critical skill managing droughts like that, can end a max out chance. So, he's got to put it together.
Yeah. No, that was just tough because again, Green Tea played that end game so well. It was just those 2 little bit longer than normal droughts that really burned up all of his cushion that he had.
Yeah.
So to finish one off again, the kicker does help, but now it's just it comes down to those 2 maxes.
Yeah, but I can see on the other stage, and you can see it on the top right of your screen where we have these active players qualifying. We do have a max out coming in from Nima, which the venue went absolutely bananas over.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Congrats to Nima.
That's huge. Locks him into silver for sure, but he's got some more time to get his footing underneath him.
All right, so I will be right back in just a minute.
Yep. And he's not even rolling. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess this is a great chance to just look at, who else is qualifying. We've talked a little bit about, yet another child prodigy that just kind of spawned in on the bracket today. I'm struggling to remember his name, but I'm going to pull it up right now. Let's see. Yeah, Axel, 600K player, 11 years old, waltzed into the venue today, said, "Hey, can I play?" And is doing his best to make it into that bronze bracket. That cutoff is rapidly increasing. Yesterday it was in the 300K range, but now it's like easily in the 500s, like, and a good 500 too. And we got guys like Vince and Total Radness on CT3, getting their scores in. I mean, Vince could probably sneak into bronze. That would be funny. Make bracket at his own tournament. Can't remember the last time he did that. Bidwell is still in a safe position for bronze with a 556. Don't remember when he got that, but that's pretty good. Dan Sushi is also safely in bronze right now. So, just goes to show you need to be watching all of these streams at all times, because we have interesting players and storylines developing everywhere, and us here at CT1, we can't do it all alone. We have amazing commentators over on CT2 and CT3, and keep that open. All right, now we got another decent chance, not just from Dan V, who, like we've said, we've come to expect this from him, but Kataru. Me personally, I like a 500K into 19 as a DAS player. I especially like a 550, but that's in a transition, and he is just barely over 100 lines already. This is a great position for him. Knocks down another Tetris. I would be thrilled to have this transition score. That 80% Tetris rate barely drops down to 79, but he has his chance. His warm up is long in the rear view at this point.
So, yeah, all 4 players doing well in these games so far. They're all safe. They're all on the paces they want to be on. Dan V again. Oh my goodness, playing up high, showing the power of rolling. Again, it's really cool that we see just sort of legends of all three play styles up here.
Yeah, he didn't even blink through that. He's just like, yeah, I play up here sometimes. Like, deal with it. Like, this is what I can do. You know, he doesn't have to, you know, play quite the same game that, you know, Kataru and Green Tea have to play, where their boards, you know, cannot go above 6 res up on 19. He doesn't have to, like, you know, necessarily take these like safe maintenance burns at the bottom of the stack. You know, he doesn't have to worry like Corian does, like, oh, is my hertz gonna be off, you know, here and there? Do I have to, like, you know, account for that?
Yes.
So he can fling pieces like he's controlling them with his mind.
So Green Chi transitions with 490. That is lower than he would like for a comfortable max. It's still possible, but he will need a really good 19.
Yeah, he's probably maxed off of a game like this before, but this is not easy street for him by any means.
It's tough. You would want to be in the position of just needing to go for the kicker in this situation, because now he does need maxes.
Yeah.
Another kicker won't really improve his situation. But, you know, it's possible.
Yeah, he's gotten pretty much exactly the kicker he needs.
So, yeah, he just wants to get a couple quick Tetrises right here to get back on a more comfortable pace. That way he doesn't have to push his aggression so much like he has been right now, because it just puts him in a more vulnerable position.
Yeah, with this score where he's at, he's got to basically amp up and, you know, take advantage of the fact that these later levels do give more points per Tetris, because the score scales up every single level, even if you're making it, you know, all the way deep into that kill screen.
Yeah, so the checkpoints, again, you want to be at 600K by 21 for a comfortable max, and he's a little bit behind that. And again, that miss drop is tough. We're going to see, okay, nice tuck. We'll see what he can get in there. Oh, nice T-tuck, but now he needs a line piece. Oh, could he get a dirty Tetris? Oh, not quite. He'll just take the triple.
Yeah.
Again, this is tough because, again, these are burns he doesn't really have to give.
Yeah, this one might just be take the L, maybe. Maybe like take the.
Well, you can at least go aggressive.
Yeah, like take it for the practice it is. You know, go all out. If you top out, whatever. Because this game, like if you play safe in this game, it's not happening. Not at this position.
So there's nothing wrong with going like super aggressive here, because maybe you can get back on track for max. Okay, he knows.
He knows. He saw it. Yeah. He saw that hang. Didn't even attempt. You know, that is diggable for a dash player. You know, the two of us could make that, and we're not even Green Tea. But he saw that hang, and he said, "There's no way I max this out, and I need to max out." And so he reset the game. He reset the cartridge from there.
Yeah, and so we are on race to gold for Team Japan, and Corian again needs 3 maxes, but he can get. He would really love to start getting them now, so he's on pace for one of them right here.
Yeah, that's only going to be a triple right there. Missing one solitary Mino. But Corian is a man who takes his burns. If he doesn't like doing these weird off the floor wells or like, you know, the weird like column 7 stuff. You know, he wants to be in this comfortable right well position, stacking cleanly as quickly as possible, and he will take the minor pace hit for the long-term consistency.
Yeah, so Corian very comfortable. He's reaching 800K by 23. So again, 3 levels ahead of where you would need to comfortably get a max out. So he can play this very safe.
Yeah, he does finally have that 1.3 game in. I know that was kind of a white whale of his for years. You know, he was stuck at that like 1.27.
He hung the bar, yeah.
And he had a few other like near misses as far as like, you know, high 1.2s, but he has locked up that 1.3, which is like kind of puts you in the pantheon of, you know, hyper tappers.
Yeah, so this is a really crucial game for Corian. He does not want to miss this one, because it'll really improve his chances of making gold to just lock this one up.
Yeah, but the point I was making is this is comfortable territory for him. Yeah.
That parity was really tough for a moment, but he got the long bar to get things down and reset things.
Yeah, still not great
parity.
No.
Terrible squares. Okay, he gets the Tetris. That was really, really crucial right there. He is right at the finish line. He can play this ultra safe. He does not want to miss this one.
Yeah, you can see that like kind of outline of a T-piece. That is a sign that your board is, you know, maybe not visually obviously unhealthy, but
one
has
Tetris
some
to go.
Like mathematical issues going on with it.
He's got it set up. He can take all the burns in the world.
Yeah.
Oh no, the board, open it up. Oh, okay, and he's the right piece. Oh no.
Yeah, that was a weird case where he was getting vertical burn pieces but taking flat burns, and now he is up higher than he wants to be.
He can get this open. Okay, needs a
Yeah.
line piece now.
Good
Okay, needs a line piece now.
piece.
Now. Okay, he gets the line piece, but it's too late.
Oh, no.
Oh.
He can just barely get this over.
Oh, man.
No dice.
Oh, that is tough. It does technically improve Corion's kicker.
Yeah, but just improving the kicker does not improve his lot in life, and I think he knows it at this point. He needs the maxes and nothing else.
It is still possible for Corion. He has
Yeah.
time for 3 maxes,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
the time is running out quick now.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been talking pretty much this whole session about how players like this can go on a heater and just knock him out, in consecutive games, and that's pretty much what he needs to do from here on out.
Yeah, and it may have been the nerves there because when you get just one Tetris away, you know how close it is.
Yeah.
It can start,
Well, it's been so long
Yeah.
since we've had to deal with this live environment. He
Yeah,
had Waku Waku, a couple of years ago, but as far as the big stage with this, with all these lights and a full crowd that has been developing over the course of, this Saturday morning session.
Yeah.
That weighs heavily on the nerves.
Yeah, so we just hit the 30-minute mark. So players have time for about just barely 4 more full-length games before their final time cutoff. So theoretically, you could have about 5 games go to kill screen again, squeaking in that final game right before the time cuts off. But that sort of puts it in perspective. So Corion, again, he needs 2 max outs in this next half an hour, and then he can squeak in another game and then just try and get a max out in that final game, and it'll be possible for him.
Yeah, with the exception of Dan V, he has a little bit more than that 4 or 5, just because he's been, committing to this 19 start thing, that the tippy top players are doing nowadays, to get those max outs, to get more opportunities in this 2-hour span we got. So he is still within range of, a 14 or 15, zone. He had a couple of misses, a couple of early game resets, and obviously that very first game with a 9-9-8 that, he's going to be thinking about, unless he can get, a couple more of that first round by, and then he can kind of breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, meanwhile, Dan V showing no signs of jet lag here. He's a little bit off pace for a max before 29 in this game, but again, he has the 29 play. He could still nail this one, and he's already at 10. If he gets to 11, he will not just be looking to get a top 16 seed. He could potentially even break the top 8 and actually finish the highest of any British player, because SV did not submit a kicker. All he needs to do is get to 14, and with his kicker already locked in, that will bump him up against everybody and actually even put him above Cobra, the current 4th seed.
Yeah.
He could get a top 4 seed.
Yeah, and these two tippy top level Brits of Dan V and SV have been just in a fierce rivalry since they both ascended to top players. They're both perennially in that top 10, top 15 sort of zone.
Yeah.
Neither one has ever really had a long-term advantage over the other in our Premier Poll rankings.
Yeah.
I don't know their match history offhandedly, and I kind of don't want to look it up right now because I want to watch every single game that we have remaining. But as far as I know, it's not really lopsided one way or another. So having that having that little win over SV, once they get back to their homelands, will be a little sweet, I have to imagine.
All right, so now as Dan V is wrapping up this max, we will next be watching Green T, who again is on borderline max out pace. He's going aggressive because he knows he wants to get back on a more comfortable pace where he does not have to push his aggression so hard. Oh my goodness, and this is tough. He needs a piece for the left, and he's getting, oh my gosh, was that 5 S pieces in a row? And that is going to end the game. Holy crap, that does not happen very often.
Yeah.
If you know stuff about NES Tetris RNG, there's actually a thing in the code that re-rolls the piece once every time you get a double piece. So it's designed to avoid situations like that, but sometimes they rarely happen, but they do happen. And Dan V is not going to get this max out. Ooh.
Yeah.
So that's tough. He does still have time to get 4 more maxes and get a top 4 seed.
Yeah, there are some pieces which, due to quirks of NES Tetris randomization, you can't get 5 of them in a row. Long bar is one of them. Some other, more friendly pieces are in that zone, but S, one of the harder pieces to deal with in this game, just can. I've seen 6, 7 in a row before, if I remember right. I know I've seen 6.
So I'm going to take a quick moment here while we're early in these games to get, been waiting years to get this for
Lord.
our player stats database, a new photo of Green Tea.
Oh, good Lord, yeah. I don't even know, what have we been using for him? Is it CTWC 2019? Yeah, God, I love being able to update. Every time we get like a high quality photo of one of these like really top level players, one of these beloved players, it's a good day. Today is a good day. Yeah, all these players shaking off those last games. Couple of disappointing endings for some of them, but they are professionals. They are used to this format, and they're right back into it like nothing ever happened. And already off to pretty decent starts are Green Tea and Dan V. Dan V maybe less so by his standards, but he's fine. Like this is still well within what he wants. Yeah, Kataru up high, probably not gonna play this one out too much further. Corian a little further in. All right, and it looks like we have the pictures now. We will be able to see those online in the CTM and newly released just this week CTL Stats Archives.
Yeah, so one of the big things about that, because we want to make them look really nice, we have photos of all the players, and I've tried to use as many recent photos of players as possible. I've attended regionals and taken photos of each of them, but Corian and Green Tea, I was not taking photos back in 2019 when the last time I saw them. So, and Green Tea is still wearing the same iconic shirt that he did when he first came to CTWC in 2018.
and you know what else he's wearing is exactly that same bright smile that never leaves his face once while he's on this stage playing Tetris.
Yeah. So, to answer the person in the chat, OG Happy Dude, yes, this is still qualification, but this is basically the first phase of the tournament. It's hugely important.
Yeah, qualifying, counts as a part of the tournament. There's always every single year a player who, feels like they should be making gold bracket, 100% of the time, who just has an off day, and that's, part of your lot in life. It does, drastically matter. Getting as high a seed as you can physically get. You do have to play every last second of this 2-hour block at the max level that you can, because every seed improves your lot in life.
Yeah. So with Dan V, again, we are on top 4 watch. Again, this is gravy for him at this point. He's already got a great seed. But with 2 more maxes, he will make the top 16, which will earn him a first-round bye. That's a big milestone. But 4 maxes would get him that golden top 4 seed.
And he's out here spin tucking in quals like it's nothing. Like he's done this
no,
weird hang. He can do that. Like he can burn out of this.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
Game
okay.
ending necessarily.
Whoa, it's very tight. Okay, he needs another piece for left. Oh, and that burns nothing. This is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Okay, to keep the 14 max stream alive, he kind of needs to clutch this out here.
Now that is a bad hang. Those earlier hangs he can deal with. That was a toughie.
And there's just nothing really he could do even with rolling. I think 4 maxes. He could get 3 maxes in 21 minutes, but it's very tight.
God, someone in the crowd was not happy about that. Possibly less so than Danby himself.
So again, he just needs 2 more maxes to get a top 16 seed, and that's basically the big milestone he has to reach. Because again, every point at which you improve your seed at this point will give you theoretically an easier opponent in the early rounds.
Yeah.
So again, that helps you because every round you go further, you get a bigger share of the prize pool, which is already up to $12,000 thanks to our very generous donors. So again, thank you so much to people who have donated so far. This goes to the players. If you go to Matcherino, if you type it in chat, you get there. And oh my gosh, here we go, Corian.
Yeah.
He really needs this max.
Corian is cruising this game.
Yes,
he's had a few like this that have not quite gone his way, but this could mean everything for him.
Yes, a max right here would be huge. Takes off a lot of the pressure in the final moments, gives him some great confidence going into the final home stretch here. Again, he can play this safe. He is ahead of pace. Again, level 24, 800K. Usually just need to get that by level 26. So again, he's taking the burns. He's already been in this situation last game.
Yeah.
He knows he can play it safe this time.
Yeah, and he's this player that, in this competitive environment, can pull off that max out. He was the first player to pull it off in competition before even Joseph did.
That is right. He was the very first, and I believe it was against Yanni.
Yeah, it was. It depends. It depends what you count. He did play an exhibition game against Jonas Neubauer.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, if you count the exhibition, it's that, and if you don't, it's still a CTN game against Yanni Herlevy in the finals in one of the 2018 ones. I don't remember which. So before even Joseph did it, before anyone else did it.
Oh, Corian could get a dirty Tetris here. He needs a line piece now, and it's not coming. No. Oh no! And that is tough. That is tough. Corian still has time. It is still possible.
Yeah.
But he needs basically, it's getting to the point where he might need 3 max outs in a row to close things out.
Yeah. There is no time. He cannot even afford to sit here and reset weird starts on 18 anymore. He cannot.
Well, it's got to be very early.
He cannot afford to get to transition and have another case like that where he is in range of it but doesn't close it out. He is now at the point where if he wants to make that gold bracket, he needs 3 right now.
And Green Team, meanwhile, trying to save this game, needs a line piece now. 32-piece drought. Oh my goodness. When the line piece comes, 1 piece. Oh, he doesn't have that cleared. Okay, this is still possible. Oh, it's opened up.
Flat burn puts a weird Mino.
And he gets the line piece. Oh, and he has multiple long bar dependencies, but he gets at least 1.
Yeah.
He's just trying to save this game because he could get a max here, and this, again, would be huge. Green Team needs 2, which is especially tough as a DAS player.
Yeah, he has the pace for it, but the board state is just going to evaporate that over time.
The pace is really tough. He knows he wants to get this quickly. Oh, no, and that
misstep is huge. Yeah, he can burn out of this because you got that game-saving J off to the left.
Every line is precious. Oh, my gosh, and SNC bursted. Oh, that's tough. That's tough.
Not happening. That spire started forming, and I think he just kind of realized it on his way up. Yep, let's just get out of here.
It's okay. Green Team Corian still have time, but it's just slipping. The time is slipping away as we go further and further here towards the finish line. So, and again, just a reminder to everybody in the audience, Hank Rogers' book signing is beginning at 11:30 a.m. So that is in just 3 minutes if you want to meet the man himself, the founder of the Tetris company, the man who went to the Soviet Union to get Tetris out of there.
Yep.
And read his book about the crazy story behind what really happens.
Yeah, there's a whole movie about it now, too.
Yeah, but if you want to hear from the man himself, because the movie, of course, it has some dramatizations. There is a giant car chase infamously at the end, which I love how in an interview he said that the reason that scene is inaccurate is because of Alexei's driving in real life. That wouldn't have been able to happen. The director in a later interview said that was to metaphorically represent the threat of the KGB upon them. But so you can hear the real story from his book, what the metaphor behind the car chase, basically.
I would have taken it if somebody made a movie and said I got in a high-speed car chase, halfway across the world, ended up coming out of it, looking like the man. I wouldn't correct them. I would have taken that. But nope, you got the real story over there on the side station in all of 1 minute. So yeah. Take your chance. Yeah, looks like Dan V well on the way to yet another max out. Gonna get this one will bring him up to 11, which does increase his seed. That's not nothing. I'm not gonna look up like who specifically he would be facing if he got this because there's still plenty of time left. But having a higher seed, even though it doesn't always improve your bracket path, gives you a much higher chance every single time you move up of getting an easier player to fight, especially once you hit that break point of having a round 1 bye because only the top 48 make it to gold. Just exponentially increases the leeway you have for your bracket path because then he'll have all day to sit in the warm-up room, work off some jet lag. He can go back to his hotel, take a nap, go to one of these mini restaurants here in beautiful Pasadena, get some good food, something like that.
Yeah. So now we are looking at Corian. He's got an 82%. He's going to increase there to still 82% Tetris rate. He is on a mission this game. This game is, again, if he wants to make gold, he'll make a good seed in silver. He'll still get to play. We'll still get to see him in action. Mm-hmm. But again, to get to that gold bracket, this game is nearing must-max territory for Corian. Because he does not quite have time for 2 more full games after this. And again, he needs 3 maxes. If he can get a max here, that takes all the pressure off for a few minutes at least.
Yeah, the good news is that the session does not end, in a sense, at that 2-hour mark. If you have a game already started, before that timer hits 0, you are allowed to finish out that game. Even if it's 1 second left on the timer, if you hit a start in time, to get that first piece to spawn, with that 1 second on the clock, you have the entirety of that game to play out and get that last max out. It's a lot of pressure, and you don't want to be in that position because it's like, okay, there's nothing I can do here. I have to max out now or never. But it's just a little bit of leeway that he is going to have to make use of.
Oh man, it's Dan V fighting for this max here.
Wow.
It's not, oh my gosh, it's very difficult even for Rolling to dig out of this because a single misdrop like we just saw can affect things. Oh, and he misses it. Oh.
Yeah, they just had a Mino a little bit too high.
Yeah.
Maybe didn't get those taps in because one of the things about rolling and hyper tapping is unlike with dash, you have to time when you start your taps after the piece spawns, and that is a really difficult skill, to keep at 100% all the time. And I think what happened there is he was just a couple frames late on starting his rolling motion, and it happened to snag on this really weird stray Mino he had up there, and that was it.
Yeah,
that was makeable. I've seen him make worse digs than that, and chop the stack down like it's nothing. But those are not 100% plays by a long shot.
Yeah. So Dan V, again, he needs 2 more maxes for that top 16 seed. So he has time to do it, but he is getting into the territory where he will want to get that one of the 2 maxes fairly quickly. And Corian, here we go. This is the end game for him. 761 at level 22.
Yeah.
Strong pace. He needs a max to keep the gold dream alive here.
And he's been here before in the past 2 hours of play, but he needs to close it out, and he knows it. He's capable of it. But
takes the triple. Again, the right move there. He can play safe. Oh, and he's not quite getting the pieces because, again, it doesn't feel great to take the burns, even if you know you can take them, because you never know when a drought's going to get you. Oh, and taking the triple. It's okay. It's okay for now.
Yeah, he was on so far beyond pace of what he needed that he can afford to play his
up to a certain point. Yeah. Okay, so he hits
conservative style.
818. He hits the 800K mark again. 2 levels early at level 24.
Yeah.
There we go. Every Tetris, it's just a sigh of relief.
Yeah, and the benefit of this too is maxing out. Not all max outs in a qualifying scenario are created equal, because if you max out, for a roller on like level 32 or for a tapper on like 28, which is like kind of a late max out for these players, that still cost you, a minute or 2 of extra time to get to that point.
Very nice middle Tetris for Corian.
Like if he locks us up on like 27, I think he can get this just barely into 27. If you locked that up then, that's another set of seconds, maybe even set of minutes that he's saving that he could use at the end of the session to reset a really weird start.
Okay, but here we go. This is Corion's position. He's been here twice, so close to a max. Might just want to burn it down and get this final Tetris, because again, he needs some change here. He can get the change by just burning down, and then it will just be one Tetris to go. He can get it on level 28.
And he's clean.
Here we go. One Tetris for Corion, and he can get the max.
That stack
waiting to
looks
set it
ugly, but for these top-level players, they see the game differently, and he saw exactly
and
that.
There it is! Max out for Corion! Here we go! Corion! 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 Just do it!
Oh my God.
Here we go. So the gold dream is alive for Corion. He needs 2 maxes and he is in. He has 10 minutes to get the first max.
Yep, he needed that in the worst way. This is how it starts.
But here we go. Now we have another max out watch for Green Tea. He's right on pace for a max.
And to an extent, Kitaro as well. These players are pulling it down to the wire. I was thinking we might have a clearer idea of oh yeah, they'll be comfortably in gold, or it's okay, they had an off day, but nope, they are using every last second of this 2-hour session. It's got to be exhausting.
Here we go. This is
top-level Tetris this long.
This is the end game for Green Tea. A max isn't essential in this game, but he would really, really love to get it.
Yeah.
It's very, very helpful for his gold dreams if he can close this out. Here we go. 3 Tetrises to go for Green Tea.
You could even do it with 2 and change, I think. With the
all right, here we go.
Yeah.
2 Tetrises to go for Green Tea. He's got the time to do it. It all comes down to level 28. He's got it set up. Waiting for the bar. There it is. One Tetris to go. Waiting to set it up. There it is. One more bar.
He just needs a bar.
Where's the bar? He has 2 lines to burn if he needs them. Oh no!
The S flat.
It's blocked. He has 1 line he can do. Where's the bar? Okay, he takes the bar, and there it is!
Team Japan with the clutch in the closing minutes of this qualifying session. 2 max outs coming in.
The dream is alive for both. Corion and Green Tea returning for the first time in person since 2019. They both have a chance to make gold bracket here, and it is clutch time. 9 minutes to go on the clock. So again, Green Tea now up to 3 maxes.
Yeah.
Just needs 1 more max out. Corion needs 2.
Yeah, once it hits the score table.
So again, Green Tea has time for about 2 more full games because he's got this one where he's got 8 minutes on the clock. He can play this one about how he wants, because if this game doesn't happen, he's got 1 more chance. He's got all the time in the world. He would love to wrap it up right here. But if this game goes bad, if it's not on a good pace, he can reset it. He's got 8 minutes to sort of get himself in a position to get in a strong pace to close out this final max out.
He has a level of leeway that Corion doesn't right now. Because he could even, and I think he will, just play this one out. And even if he doesn't make it, probably has the chance to, if things aren't going his way on 19, just take the L, top out, move on. Because he needs 1 more game in order to make that gold bracket cutoff right now. Yeah,
so Corion is in a position where, again, a level 18 start max out, which is what he's going to want to do, is going to take about 8 minutes or more. And he has just crossed that threshold. So now he had the opportunity to reset this game if it was going really bad early on, but it's going decently. It's the start he wants. So he's now, at this point, again, the gold race, he's kind of committed to this game. He wants to close this one out and get the max here.
Yeah, it is so much better to not need that leeway when you have it.
So yeah, Corion kind of has 2 full games left where he needs maxes in both of them. Green Tea has 2 full games or a couple half games available. Just get in position for 1 max. And that would really, really be incredible to see Green Tea in gold, to still have all 3 play styles represented in the year of our Lord 2025.
and some of the few players from that pre-online era, in 2018, 2019, who are still around and are still kicking and wowing us at every moment.
And Corian dealing with, oh my gosh, a 36, 37-piece drought, finally gets the Tetris. But again, you hate to see those droughts because it just causes, more burn lines to slip away. And another max out for Dan V.
Oh my God, and that was an early one too. That was level 24.
Oh, incredible. Okay,
yeah,
so
that's huge. If he gets another one like that, I believe he has narrowly enough time to get even an extra game at the end of the session. But no, he's not even going to take it.
Yeah.
He's not going to go for that, really low percentage max out, like really early, like he just got. He's going to bank his time, take an 18 start, and try to go for like the higher percentage chance of landing it.
Yeah, so Dan V at this point, his end game is he just needs one more max, and he will get 14th seed, which is great.
That's huge. The difference between maxing this game and not is the difference between having a first round bye and that huge rest period for pretty much the whole day and not. And I think he knows that.
Cool. A little bit of a shaky misdraw for Green Tea. Nothing too serious. It is level 18, although... Oh, yeah, and gets the perfect square.
Yeah, now we're at that point where like these weird mechanical flubs, that really didn't matter early in the session because you have 2 hours, to make up for them, can start to matter. I saw Dandy accidentally double flip a piece and then react to it and then flip it again in order to keep the stack clean. It would have been, kind of a pain if he hadn't have done that. And these things matter at this stage of our session.
All right, so here we go. This is a crucial game for Corian. He just transitioned at 570.
And Green Tea up really high.
Yeah. And we got Wing Fryer, the most enthusiastic judge of all time, cheering on Team Japan. So Green Tea, he does not need a max this game. He'd love to get it, but he still has a game or two to give. He has a little bit of time. Corian needs this max.
Yeah, and that wasn't...
Oh, no. No.
And that wasn't just a cheer either. That was our 5-minute warning on this session.
This is a crucial dig for Corian to keep his gold dream alive. Can he get the right pieces? Great tap over. Needs some pieces to get this down. Okay.
This could be a Tetris, whether he takes it or not. He'll just burn out of it.
Okay, just take the triple. Yeah.
This is how Corian likes to play. He does not want to, take what could be an aggressive Tetris setup there.
Oh, he might try for the dirty Tetris here. Yeah, or the center wheel Tetris at least. Pieces aren't quite working out.
Yeah.
Again, he's not on like super comfortable pace here. So he doesn't want to burn longer than he has to. But again,
he burns exactly as much as he needs to get to that comfortable, on that last row, right side well that you'll see every top player gravitate to. And he's at it. He can cruise from this position. His 19 skills are, up there with any of the best tappers in the world.
Yeah, and Green Tea also, he transitioned a little bit lower. He probably wants to play this super aggressive because he only has 3.5 minutes to reset.
Yeah, it was huge to get out of that dig earlier because he got in a really weird dig earlier where it's like he does not have time to, take the L on this one.
Oh my gosh, Corian going aggressive, and it pays off.
Yeah, so Green Tea needs to pull something out of a hat, this 19 efficiency, with that DAS playstyle, the least mobile, of the three ways to move the pieces. But he can do it. It's him.
This game is do or die for Corian to keep the gold dreams alive.
My
gosh, he can save this game. He needs the right piece to open it up. Oh, the well is opened up. Where is the long bar? Where is the long bar for Corian? There it is. There it is. He's okay. This is the end game. He's reached the checkpoint of 800K by 26. Trying to burn this down.
And he's in that power play late in the game where Tetrises are worth more.
Yes. And he gets it open. Out. All right, 845 at 27. He needs 5 more Tetrises, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know if, he can
here we
see it now. He does not have time to sit here and burn out and go for the right well and only right well. He is playing with minimum burn strats here.
He's going to have to do this with the left well.
He can get.
Oh, maybe even a center well.
Oh my God! Yeah, he is going.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
He's going wherever the game takes him right now.
Oh, this is going to be tight. This is going to be tight.
Yeah, he has no burns remaining. He has to Tetris here.
Okay, and maybe even set up a center well.
Yeah,
a center well. He might need points on 29.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, he's going to be just short. He's going to have to clutch it out with tap on the kill screen. Can he do it? Here we go.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. 990K.
He can't make it.
Oh.
90 and Green Tea tops out as well.
And Green Tea.
They have one more game.
Last game. Okay, so unfortunately, gold bracket is not possible for Corian at this point, but he can still improve his position in the silver bracket, and Green Tea has one more game to get a max.
He has to max out, does Green Tea. No other score will get him in this gold bracket. It's a great run for Corian. Unfortunate that he just cannot, put that last piece where it needed to go. Just took too many burns in that end game, and he will be in a really nice position in that silver bracket. We'll have a high seed. We'll be one of the contenders to win that. As we get into our 1 minute warning, Wingfryer making sure the players know that.
So here we go. So Corian and Kataru's fates are kind of sealed at this point.
Yeah.
They know where they're going to be. Kataru's going to have a spot in silver.
Yeah.
And Corian's going to have a great spot in silver too. Now, the stakes are high for Dan V and Green Tea. Dan V has a first round bye in gold on the line, and Green Tea has gold on the line.
And Dan V is...
Oh no. Green Tea has barely enough time to reset. He might want to reset right now if he can't dig out of this.
Yeah,
it's reset now.
He literally looked up at the screen on the timer on the big screen beneath it, behind him.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. All these players are locked into their final game. Here we go. One game to max.
It is now or never for Green Tea to make this gold bracket, and for Dan V to lock up this first round bye that ever important for these top 10 players that he is.
Oh my goodness, this is getting a little tough for Dan V.
Yeah, and even on the side streams, don't forget CT2 and 3. We have players with active games still rolling. And it's not like this means nothing for Kataru and Corian. A max out for either of them, or I believe for Kataru, even a higher 900K will improve their seeding. It's not guaranteed to make their bracket path easier, but it's a higher percentage chance of having a more easy opponent to deal with every time you move up in seed.
Oh, and this is precarious for Green Tea. He has to clutch up this 18 dig to just keep this game alive.
Yeah, not only is this a dig, I know he can dig this. The problem is that pace is falling behind. You can see that oft-mentioned Tetris rate, ticking down every single time he burns because it's so early in the game. But
it's early enough. Again, he just needs to survive and gets this down. Meanwhile, Kataru looks like it's going to be the end of his run at 480K. So Kataru still a great showing from the two-time CTWC finalist.
Yes.
Congrats to Kataru for getting what is likely a 78th seed in silver.
Yeah, in an abbreviated session with no warm-up either.
Yeah.
Not a lot of players would have had, the mental fortitude to, put up a 900K score off of that, and especially not with all the behind-the-scenes work he's been doing for this wonderful organization. Ran a whole tournament for TGM yesterday. Just amazing from Kataru.
And Green Tea now finally has his board in a better state, and just trying to get, he's got it open again, trying to get back to Tetris's. He's got that 39% Tetris rate. You want that above 60% if you're going.
Dan V, he's at that point now where it doesn't matter where he gets his max as long as he gets his max. And with 3 burns to go before 29, he's going to need to do it deep into that kill screen. And he needs this max if he can so help it. He's in that gold bracket, and so that's all you need to be able to win, but he's really up high and would really appreciate something here, doing flat burns left and right, trying to keep this max chance alive. He's maxed worse than this before, I'm sure.
Oh my goodness, these are some clutch rolls. Very nice L piece there. Oh, can he get the line? Oh, okay.
Beautiful. Down to the bottom, has a couple of minos to build off of, because building from perfect clear can be weirdly difficult. Just taking his time. He knows that he can just sit here and line out for as long as he needs. These are unmodified consoles, and there's no line cap in the qualification. Not like he's losing time. The session's over anyway. He can do whatever he wants here. He can take the Tetrises, get it over with, give him less time, to make those weird mistakes that pile up, or he could, play this conservatively, takes a triple there, Doesn't have to go aggressive, doesn't have to play conservative. He can play whatever he wants here. He can just do whatever the pieces guide.
Dan V, yeah, does not want to make any misdrops, does want not to get out of a groove. He is locked in, on the verge of showing that jet lag is nothing to him. Getting in late last night all the way from across the pond and on the verge, just a Tetris and change away from locking up a top 16 seed. Oh, it's getting a little precarious on the left.
Yeah, that left is rough. Misses the 5-tap.
Oh, and misses the 5-tap.
And this is probably undoable. That'll do it for Dan V. Misses that last max out.
17th seed for Dan V.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to play a round 0 match against whoever our 48 seed is going to turn out being. We can't call it just yet because we have one man on your screen who can play spoiler and knock someone out of that gold bracket, and it's Green Tea in the bottom left.
So it comes down to this.
Yes.
Corion going for one more max. He is on pace to do it. It would be a great end note to a really phenomenal qualifier. Oh, and gets the line spin.
Shout outs to Vandweller. I know you're happy about that one.
But the stakes could not be higher for Team Japan with Green Tea. One game to max to get back in gold bracket.
Center well, 2 off. He hits these dirties sometimes. Oh.
And it is going to take likely a clutch 19 for the ages. Green Tea, again, it's possible for him to max this, but he's a little bit behind the pace he'd want to be at. Again, you want to be above that 60% Tetris rate. He's currently at 55%. So going into 19, he's going to want to get some Tetrises quickly to recover that pace, to give him some breathing room so he does not have to take aggressive, dangerous moves. But right now, he is trying his best to just make sure he can get into 19 here. Perfect L for the left. He's got this cleaned up. Where's the long bar? There it is. Tetris for Green Tea, 466.
God,
this is it.
What a session it has been. We were thinking we were going to spend 2 hours just kind of barely watching these qualifiers, vamping about stats as we're cutting that 15-minute pre-show block we had in previous years. But these players, they're putting on a show. It's too much to ignore.
And Corion and Green Tea are locked in. Corion with a fantastic pace, looking to close this one out. On the verge again of getting 800K well before, All right, right pieces for the center and gets a Tetris.
Needed to burn that out and did it precisely the way he needed.
Green Tea on the verge, needs a long bar and needs it now. There it is. Oh no, the pieces aren't quite working out. Another Tetris for Green Tea, 582. Corion is at 822, shaking his head a little bit. It's a little bit tough.
And if you were watching the other streams, as I've been telling you to do the whole time, now's the time to turn them off. These are the last 2 games of this qualifying session.
Oh my gosh.
Your screen here.
Where's the long bar for Corion? Gets the long bar. Saves the game. Oh no, needs one more, needs one more.
He misses the rotation, gets it in too late, and that is going to kill the run. Spirals from there.
All right, so now it is all up to Green Tea, and this is going to be tough. It's going to be very tough.
He needs every Tetris he can get, and he knows it. Going for the center well this early on 19 is...
and this is Green Tea's original strat. He used to use the center well on 19 all the way back in 2018. This is what he was known for in CTM when we first got to know him as a player. Can he bring back the center well and use it to clutch up a trip to gold? He's going to need every possible Tetris here.
God, back when he was out here winning tournaments.
Oh, that's tough.
Right.
He can still get a Tetris here.
Yeah, perfect T-burn.
Those burns hurt. Okay, there's a Tetris.
Yeah, but as much as those burns hurt the score, he needed that just to keep the game alive. It took exactly as many as he needed, no more, no less, and he is within range.
It is still technically possible,
but he can do it.
He needs to avoid every possible burn he can. Oh, that one burn again. Even a single burn hurts at this stage.
Yeah, I know he was thinking about a triple. In a lot of cases, you take that triple there just because it helps stack. But
where's the long bar? No. Okay.
Yeah, he got that Tetris, but he kind of sold for it, and so now that just makes it an extra bit harder. Can't get the bar over.
And that's going to be it. But a wonderful performance from our Japan legends returning.
What a wonderful session, and so wonderful to see these two again, legends of the scene.
2 max outs for Corian, 3 max outs for Green Tea.
And they are going to be some of your top seeds out here in that silver bracket on CT3. It will not be much longer today before we lock those brackets and get started, but right now with the crowd celebrating these two.
And you know what? The thing is, the final seed, 48th seed. Oh, we got something exciting happening over there.
Yep. I was wrong. There was one other game to play, and it was Ninja clutching out that last max out on CT2.
Very nice for CT2.
That's why you don't take your eyes off the screen for even a second.
But we do have something very cool as well. Even though Green Tea did not get that last max out, the person who will be taking his place as 48th seed is Salted Sofa, the Canadian legend coming to his very first live CTWC. Yeah. Only his second live event ever. His first one was Montreal, which is rare for a player of such prominence in the scene. Yeah. So it'll be awesome to see Salted Sofa, again, representing our players outside of the United States in the gold bracket.
Because I know it gets said every single year about 40 times, but it really is a worldwide game. And so I love having these players, outside of, this United States epicenter of the scene, your Dogs, your Alexes, your Blue Scooties. There are more players, than just California and Texas, across the world. And we are going to have a chance to, get a look at them in bracket play today.
And thank you so much again for all of you at home for joining Marfram and I for the final session. Now we have all our scores locked in. We're going to finalize the brackets. People are going to take photos, and we're going to get to the action as quickly as possible. So now while we're all setting up, we are going to take another look at, again, this huge documentary produced by Legendary Entertainment, the trailer for Blue Scooty, Tetris Crasher.
It's 40-year-old anniversary of Tetris.
People always think of Tetris as this eternal game that can't be beaten.
We've actually gotten really close where we could, in a way, beat the game.
I heard there was a person who was on an insanely good run. That was Willis Gibson. That was Blue Scooty.
Every tournament we go to is practice for Pasadena.
Is it Tetris or Blue Scooty? This is the craziest showdown that we've ever had. This guy's ridiculous. 3, 2.
Wait, my CRT isn't on.
Oh, we need to get people out.
The game's code starts breaking at a certain point.
The colors start to glitch out. You start to overload it.
Please crash.
And eventually, it just breaks.
Oh my god!
In a developing story tonight, a Stillwater teen is the first person to beat Tetris.
Humans win!
Suddenly, he becomes the most famous Tetris player of all time.
When we came back,
Willis's father was diagnosed with a severe heart condition.
Before she even told me, I knew.
It's hard to talk about that. Like, I can't.
Tetris is a metaphor for being alive. The one thing that we all know is that you won't always be.
You don't know the pieces you're going to get. Tetris, it's very therapeutic for some people.
This is the most supportive family I have seen. They're all there cheering him on.
This community just called him in. It's just amazing what he's gone through.
One day, you will get that piece you need. You will find that success.
Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
My family and my dad.
You know what Blue Scooty is in real life? It's a giant star.